keep living, yeah. And keep loving, oh, loving and loving and loving. And when the ink dries and the page turns to dust, so will we turn to dust, so will we turn dust.
Peace. Grand rising to the family. It's the Hood Mystic representing www.hoodmystic.com, and I want everybody to take a look at the article that we're referencing for this daily energy reading. And beyond that, we'll just go through it. The title of this video is Spiritual Burnout Combined with Less is More. This conversation came about based upon like an internal dialogue that I was having with myself and doing the research of today's daily energy reading. And certain things started to trouble my soul. Certain things started to disturb my free-flowing neurotransmitters. And I had to really figure out, okay, what is happening and why do I have a problem with it? And then how do I solve it? And I hope that everybody is doing well today on the live. Hope that everybody is peaceful. My present state of mind is very calm, serene, in a blissful kind of state. If you could imagine smoking 10,000 blunts and just kind of being in that vibe, but, you know, not smoking no blunts and just kind of being high off life, lemon water and things of that nature, you know, just making sure that I'm clear and pure enough to channel this information for the people and can elevate and move forward to a different level of conversation, because even at this level where it gets to the minuscule details of spirituality, there are levels deeper than that. There are subprimal levels that we haven't even scratched the surface of, because the reality is that we are inundated with surface reality stuff. And so, to begin, because I want to make sure that it's clear as possible, so I don't want to over talk and miss the point or miss the mark. So I'm going to at least try to streamline it and make it as simple as possible. So peace to the family, peace to Jay Davila, Miss Loving Life, Kendra Spirit, Danielle Henry Bay, Emma Lawson, Philip Boone, Soeli Ma, Greenheart Goddess. Peace. Thank you guys for joining me and all the other people that's on the live. People who watch this video post live, thank you for taking out some time to deal with this spiritual speak. Daily energy reading, we're dealing with the sidereal astrology. And the reason why we reference sidereal is based upon the accurate placements of the planets align with the accurate astrology signs, as opposed to moving it up 30 degrees ahead when that's not the reality. So, with all that being said, we want to first start at spiritual energy. And spiritual energy is our ability to manifest. And this manifestation process happens very naturally, autonomously, and it's been happening ever since our daddy shot his load into our mommy and infected the egg cell. And we have been on a process of slowly rebuilding and generating ourselves at an autonomous atomic level. See, that is us at our smallest being, a sperm cell encased in an egg cell, growing in the womb. That is our earliest memory in this plane. So if we take that and we expand upon that, that's perfectly fine. But what tends to happen is that we forget that root primal point altogether. it comes non-existent. And this because we're born into a family, and our family isn't a family within just a isolated thing. It's actually connected to a neighborhood, and it has a status. So we have to deal with that stuff, the atomic levels of our families. And so within that construct, we have gender, we have sex, we have race, we have all of these different existential surface things that take us out of the primal root manifestation, spiritual energy that is autonomous and beyond our conscious mind. See, our brain came later. Before our brain was our heart, and our heart ran everything. Our heart runs everything. When the heart decides, hey, I'm done, bro, there's no more life. The brain, we get brain dead all the time. Brain shut off all the time. You know, life still goes on. So, in referencing spiritual energy, we're referencing our lamp. And this quote is from Swami Vivekananda. Do not burn the lamp quickly. Let it burn slowly and gently. Every anxiety, every violent exercise, physical and mental, means you are burning the lamp. So every anxiety, every mental violent exercise where we beat ourselves up based upon an atomic, familial, human understanding. This has nothing to do with our primal ability to regenerate, to create, to manifest, to preserve, to destroy even. Get rid of things that don't need to be there. There's a lot of different things that take place on this level. That the most simplest things is reducing your frame of perspective into the idea of your atomic self. Now, this conversation may be difficult for a person who thinks that they have to buy themselves into spirituality. They have to learn themselves into spirituality. They have to get awarded degrees, certificates, different kind of chains and stuff, aliques and things of that nature, priestess, so you get what I'm saying. All of these different existential, circumstantial things that are relative to place and time that make you more spiritual. Oh, I'm Nigerian. Oh, I'm Native American. That make you more spiritual than the person who isn't, when you had no real control over that. So no matter where you are on this planet, no matter what condition, no matter what circumstance you're in, no matter how much money you have, we all started at the primal Martian energy. So now the reason why I'm getting as deep as that is because the moon is conjunct Mars. The moon is conjunct Mars. Mars is our subatomic ability to move forward, and Mars moves forward without us being consciously aware that we're moving forward, that we're growing, that we're regenerating ourselves. But the trick, the funky cold Medina to the whole situation is that you think you know everything. You will have a person who's read a lot of books sit in front of you and talk to you about the books that they've read, right? As in a semblance that they possibly know something that could possibly help you. And this may be true, but more times than not, it is not true, because the thing that can help you is a reduction of you even looking out externally. What can help you is when you go within. You ever had to go to the hospital for something major, the thing that actually heals you is the sleep. They don't be healing you all day. They check your little levels, your pressures. Hey, did you get some sleep? All right, here go these medicines to knock your ass out, so your body can do the healing. Because when we're sleeping, that's healing. It's called sin. It's called the Amrita. It's called melatonin. But since the moon, which is our maternal influences, is on top of our Martian influences, that creates stress. And you're like, what are you talking about? So say, for instance, you're a freaky deaky love child. You know what I'm saying? It's popping, and non-stopping. You know what I'm saying? Who is it? It's mama. That freaky deaky love fest stop. And now you can't be your freaky deaky self no more. So the moon on top of Mars creates a level of stress within itself to live up to the subconscious perfection. Our mothers are our mothers, our fathers are our fathers. The difficult thing that we put around it is the expectation of what would be a perfect mom, what would be a perfect dad, right? Now, if you polled every single human being on the planet, they'll never come up with a definition of that. Therefore, there is no such thing. Therefore, our expectations of motherly, fatherly influences are pure poppycock, and it's all derivative of societal programming. At the atomic spermal level, none of that matters. And so this becomes difficult because you walk into spirituality and you looking for something that's going to heal your societal brainwashing. And somebody has to tell you, I can't help you in your brainwashing. I can help you at your root atomic level of understanding. And get you to tap into your power, get you to tap into your lamp. Tap into your Martian influence. But I can't take a shower for you. You know, I can't do the work for you. I can't raise your spiritual energy up for you. That becomes something that you have to do. And the problem is you don't know how to do it because your awareness is centered on your thoughts. So no matter what anybody is telling you, it gets, as many people that I have many powwows with, many different conversations with, but then when it comes down to it, they still gonna do their thing, they still gonna play their video games, they still gonna deal with their wife, they still, my wife is really disturbing my spiritual process, and, my wife, okay? Divorce her. Or don't complain about her all the time. Because it becomes to be something that you are creating for yourself. So all of this is tied into the moon conjunct Mars, where we have the moon is always in a space where it's elevated beyond reproach. Our subconscious mind becomes elevated beyond reproach because we view our subconscious mind as a thing that's going to help us. We think that our mother is supposed to help us even when we're 45, We still pull on our maternal influences as if they owe us something. But then it's like, okay, this becomes more stressful because the moon doesn't really owe you anything. Your mother doesn't really owe you anything. When she preserved you and held you in her room for 9 months and allowed you to come out, safe and sound, her job was done effectively. When your father had sex with your mom and impregnated her, his job was finished. Because from that point, you had enough power to manifest, regenerate, preserve, destroy, build, manifest to your own choosing. Now, you could have had particular sympathies that blocked you from this. You could have had particular brainwashing that could block you from this. But there are plenty of people who have been abandoned by their families and you wouldn't never even know. But then there are plenty of people who have been coddled and enabled and taken care of by their family, and you could tell. So, it begins to get to a point where we figure out how to move forward from this expectation of the moon and dealing with our primal root source energy. And what activates this energy is a minor grand trine between Uranus and the sun. Uranus is inside real Aries, which indicates fire. The sun is a fire constellation, is in Aquarius. So there's a mental, energetic level to this understanding that's not really physical. So that brings me more into the conversation of bringing this down to scale. If you don't bring it down to scale, you don't understand how powerful you are. From an atomic level, there are cells that are built off of atoms that is all connected to your energy that do amazing, wonderful, powerful, spiritual, miracle, miraculous things every second, every day. Every second of your awareness is a miracle. But if you condition by an external reality of what you should or shouldn't be doing, you miss out on the miracle. Because your perspective is shifted. You now look at yourself as a human in this big vast world, which is just a mirror for that small atom, small atman, small soul in the midst of a human body. So your perspective could be that of a helpless individual in a very large world that's don't got enough this, don't got enough that. Or you can reduce yourself to mere nothingness, to the smallest aspect, atomic level of you, which is 10 billion times smaller than a human being. So now if you reduce that and deal with it in scale, that means from an atomic level, manifesting and projecting and visualizing and having the awareness of life makes you 10 billion times more powerful than if you were to look at your life as regular Sally Joe from up the street. 10 billion times more powerful. So it ain't really nothing that you need to buy into, now is it? It ain't really nothing that you need to pray for or meditate on, now is it? It ain't really nothing that you really need to expect, now is it? Because you can't fathom the amount of power. You can't fathom the amount of manifestation which comes from the realization of viewing yourself from an atomic level. Now, this isn't anything that I'm making up. This is just everything that the world teaches you out of, even within the spiritual community, because if you have an external thing that you're focusing on and then you bring your lamp into it, you bring your spiritual energy into it, then you will burn yourself out, because that's just stress. That's just stress. It's not really about the results. It's really about what's really happening in this world. We are all atomic beings, nuclear beings. And to tap into this energy would tap into the power of billions times trillions of source energy, because we're still human beings at the same time. But your expectations on what it might look like when you tap into this power is the mere block to it. It's very, very tricky. The sun does what the sun does with no expectation. Nobody is saying, you know what, I can't stand the sun. And the sun like, you can't stand me? You can't stand me? All right, then I'm not rising today. How about that? You can't stand me. It doesn't work like that. It does what it does regardless of how you feel. So at the atomic level, these particular feelings and opinions and personalities and genders and sexes and racial and black consciousness and white consciousness and black magic and white magic. Oh, I do my shit Santeria, voodoo, nigga. You ain't doing this shit like me. I'm boss hog popping out here. You don't know nothing about this shit that I'm on. Really don't make no sense when you look at it from this perspective. Now do it. It look like a bunch of little babies out here that don't know what the fuck is going on, but just holding on to something and thinking that this thing that they found on the human level is going to save them. And I say, and I challenge you, find me something, show it to me, comment on this video. that would be more powerful than you tapping into your atomic spermatozoa that has built you up to this actual point. That has been like, hey, don't go in there. You know what, I'm gonna stay home today. Or whatever the intuition has come and got you to this point. It wasn't never listening to a particular person. It was actually listening to your actual primal, magical, spiritual self. So throughout history, like even when you reference the Bible, they talk about Adam. When you reference science, they talk about the atom. When you reference Egyptian mythology, they reference a tomb. A tomb, Adam, same thing. Translation will say no, a tomb is an Egyptian metaphysical concept. Adam is a scientific concept. Adam in the Bible is a dude in the Bible who ain't wear no clothes and got tricked by Eve. That's three separate things, Hood Mystic. You can't just combine them all like that. And I'm just going to say, if you don't know that the Bible is a metaphysical book specifically about one human body, then you're confused. This shit, you thinking that these is actual people out here. You think Jesus is an actual person. That wouldn't even, if it was a book based upon history or about a selection of people, it wouldn't even be a powerful book. It wouldn't hold the spell that it holds on people. Because don't nobody want to read a social studies book. Don't nobody want to read no book about history and pass it down. Name me another history book. Name me another social studies book that people be referencing like the Bible or the Quran or the Torah. Obviously, those books is talking about something much more deeper, something much more esoteric that won't never be explained to you. Or the reason why people become so fanatical and so drawn to it is because the people who have created it have figured out a way to hack into your mainframe and take control of your soul. And now they have took your soul out your body and put it up in the sky, and now you worship in the sky. But say, for instance, that soul was in you first. Say that book was a metaphysical book. Say that book was a origin story of your life, of your being. Then shit gets a little tricky, a little confusing. So you have to begin to understand energy just for the day. This is a daily energy reading, right? So within this, I'm literally saying today, make sure that you are in alignment with your core being. That don't need your mama, don't need your daddy, okay? Don't need your family lineage, don't need your girl power, don't need your masculinity, don't need your sexiness, don't need your intelligence, don't need none of your fancy shit, none of your clothes, none of your money, none of your brokenness, none of your wokeness. It just needs your constant awareness of, I get this shit popping for you and not nothing else. Not anything else. And if you want the astrologics of this conversation, please visit www.hoodmystic.com, and I have the whole astrological breakdown. It's just for in the space of daily energy reading and a visual component to this actual build. I'ma take it away from that. So we've figured this out, right? Atum created himself from a mound of dust. The atom is the first. That's the primal thing that everything is made out of. A cell is broken down into many atoms. So we have trillions upon trillions of atoms within our body that are looking for a direction, looking for some form of awareness. And then you have in religion, Adam, and the Christians say from dust to dust. You understand? All of these different things, from dust till dawn, or I don't. You get the point, right? The power is in the atom. The power is in your root primal force. The power is not in focusing on the external reality. But what happens when we focus on the external reality, whether it's work, whether it's friendships, whether it's, spiritual guidance, whether it's our psychology meetings with our psychologist every Thursday, whether it's going to class every day, whether it's sitting in the house all day and doing nothing, there comes a level of burnout that happens because all of these things that I just mentioned represent the human level of perception, where the human level of perception is perfectly fine, but it's kind of like the carriage, right? The atomic level of perception is the horse. So when we talk about moving and going in particular directions, wouldn't it make more sense to put the horse in front of the carriage? Because I don't know how it works that a carriage pulls the horses. So, just for today, put the horses first and sit back and ride. So, burnout comes from exhaustion, which is caused by excessive and prolonged stress. In a spiritual sense, burnout is tied into what you are manifesting and not how you are manifesting it. When you have what you are fixated on, and it's when you are focusing on what you are fixated on, it's going to slowly drain your energy because I want it. So that's what I'm going to focus on. But when you focus on how you're going to bring something into manifestation, you are doing something different. You're building your energy. So a quick analogy is, say for instance, you're going on a long trip. Your long trip is what it is. You're going on a long trip, but sometimes you have to stop, pull over, go to the gas station, literally cut your car off, and fill up the tank. Do that mean you no longer on a journey? So do you understand what happens if you keep going? You're going to run out of gas and you're going to be stuck. But it's way wiser to say, hey, I'm getting low on gas. Let me stop, right? Let me figure out what I need to do, put in the right gas, clean the windshield off, get the bugs off and things of that nature, and then start going again. Throughout this spiritual journey, it might be feeling like you need to learn, retain, gain, and do all of these types of things. But you going on a long journey, that's a lifetime journey. So sometimes you just gotta stop reading, stop looking, stop learning, and just stop altogether and experience what it means to fill up your energy for real, because you filling up the brain with knowledge and lectures and information and things of that nature. You filling up the brain, but the brain is not a powerful. The brain keeps you in a human perspective. The brain is more or less a powerless device at this point. How do you fill up your heart? How do you fill up your electromagnetic field? Through awareness. Because the energy and the response that the heart and your atomic level has for you, you can't help it. You can't help your heartbeat. Like, hey, heart, I see you down here working hard. Let me take over. And that don't read. So the mere awareness, the mere functioning of just stopping, relaxing, and bringing your awareness to removes the stress of expectation, right? But then it also allows you to move forward in a more refilled, revitalized, revamped type of way. So less is more is used to express the minimalist approach that shows that when you are minimal, you're way more effective. And when you try to do too much, you set yourself up for your own whoop. You set yourself up for your own trouble. So that was the Toronto. And we'll move forward into the tapped in section, and then I'll also read the chat for any questions. But like I said, I didn't want to be the person that just talk about this, but I feel like I made it clear enough. Made it clear enough that we can move forward. And so when you reference like guilt and spirituality, all of these things are human perspectives. At the atomic level, there is no guilt. At the Martian level, there is no guilt. If you freaky deaky, you just freaky deaky. You can't help that. If you creative, you creative. Like, you just creative. So certain concepts have to be disassociated from, and that's why it's a good thing to read the article as well to go along with what I'm saying, because if you don't disassociate from the surface reality and all that comes with it, surface reality isn't just all good things. The surface reality is guilt, shame, anxiety, negative feelings. Like, all of that comes with the surface reality too, because without those things, the positive things couldn't exist. So it becomes this big game of shadow and light, night and day. I feel bad for this, but I feel good for that. Just for the day, imagine all of that shit to be wiped away, and everything that you put forward is a spiritual process. (385-799-9560). If you got any questions, comments, questions about anything I might add, comments about anything I might add, or you just want to say what's up, that'd be perfectly fine. 385-799-9560. If you have any questions about this bill that I was talking on, where it just don't make no sense and you don't agree with it, please feel free to hit me up and we can talk further about it. Maybe you can prove me wrong and tell me how Jesus is the light and I'm lost. But yeah, help me understand this. Let me know how y'all feel. 385-799-9560. Peace, love, live life. Peace, Jazz. Peace, Green Heart Goddess. Priest, Astonish. I ain't gonna pronounce that last one because I don't got time. Chadwick Sam. Osun Mayat. Rebecca Carrington. Green Heart Goddess. Osun Mayat. Ethereal Flower. Miss Loving Life. Insight. Emma Lawson. Green Heart Goddess. Peace to the family. Y'all be acting so shy. Y'all don't even be wanting to call in, bro. And that'd be crazy. But that's cool. Like all things, it's gonna.
They be at work.
Huh?
They be at work.
Oh, they be. You keep every time I say that, you always remind me of that, because when we do the readings or whatever, the lines be jam packed. If it was on the late night, it'd probably be more jam packed. But yeah, I understand work life, kid life, school life. So if y'all do have any questions, leave them in the chat as well. I'm gonna throw this Frank Ocean on back again though, just for good measure. This Frank Ocean got me in like a vibe today. Hi, Mama Mystic.
Hello.
If you see numbers daily, the best way to deal with numbers, 617 on the line, give me a second, but I'm gonna say this, 617, don't go nowhere, I'm coming right to you. If you see numbers, be sure to check the Hebrew concordance first and foremost before you check anything. And from the concordance, if you map out those words, you will find a more resonance of what those numbers mean. That's the thing that works for me. And you can also check the gematria, but that gets confusing. But more than not, I would go with the concordance first. Don't nobody really say that, but yeah, that's where I can decode all my numbers from and get the righteous information. But give me a second. You hop on this line. Give me a second. Hey. They both left? Oh, y'all could have called back. I was getting on the line, bro. But if y'all call back, give me a call back. But if not, that's cool. I would have liked to talk to y'all. They was talking to each other, and they was just like, all right, then, peace. I'm like... Y'all could give me a call back. I was just slow in the draw. Alright. Give me a second, 617. Six 617, you tapped in with the Hood Mystic. Who might I be speaking with? What up, Reggie? That's my hometown, Boston. You feel me? I know that area code like the back of my hand. What's up, bro? Yeah, your area code. Yep. Yeah.
And I'm literally just calling in just to, I guess, give thanks because you do a lot. And we sit here and listen to you almost every day. Like we living at our par, but we feel rich. Like we know we're gonna glow up. It's only a matter of time. So we're just calling. I'm just calling in. So yeah, just to say what up and keep saying that no one's calling in. So
yeah. I appreciate you, man. You a real one for that. And I would just say, like, this whole conversation could have been really dedicated to what you and your girl is doing, right? Like, if I had a simple way to verbalize the shit, I would just be like, go to Sarasota with your girl and live in your car till you figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what resonates with you. Like, it'd be like, well, I gotta make my family happy. I gotta da-da-da-da-da. And that shit gets confusing. But once you follow your intuition, like, man, I lived in Boston when I first got a check. You know what I'm saying? The biggest check I ever got, I packed my car up. I hopped in that bitch, and I lived in it. You feel me? Like, and would I go back and do it differently? Hell no. I wouldn't ever. You know what I'm saying? Like if you was living in Boston.
Am I what?
Was you living in Boston before you went to Sarasota?
Say that one more time. Was I invested?
Were you living in Boston before you moved to Sarasota?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm from Cambridge.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm from Cambridge, and I was living in Somerville, because I went to school out there.
Got you.
I ended up back up there as an adult, and I met my shorty. She's from like more Western Massachusetts.
Got you.
Dominican, so she's from this like weird little town. Her family moved to escape. You know what I mean?
Right.
We just met and was like, let's do something. Like we,
Yeah.
sick of the same cycle,
Yeah.
same fast living.
Yeah.
Not enough money, jobs ain't paying.
Man.
We out here looking crazy. Looking pale.
Right. No air, no sun, just broke and. Like, it's just broke. Like,
Right.
Yeah. So I was in that same mode, and it was just like, okay, once I got an opportunity to leave, I left, and I never looked back. So, if anything, I would never suggest that because that sounds crazy. But if you already in that space, I'm gonna just be like, yeah, you in the right space, you doing the right thing because you allowing your spirit to take over. And now, so you in Sarasota now, everybody you see, everybody you meet, every experience become a spiritual experience because it's like completely new. So the idea is, don't be afraid to just kind of embrace the world that you are in, and then just keep moving forward, keep elevating, and then always remember that it's spirit first, and you gonna be good.
Absolutely. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you, man. Hit me up.
Yeah, definitely. The last thing I just want to say.
Go ahead.
I guess it's more of a question. It's like, I'm like, I want to like pick you up, man. You and your wife, first of all, we ordered a unit before we moved in for Christmas, right?
Right.
It arrived, but it was too bulky to be in the whip, so I ended up just dropping it off at my cousin's house in Bradenton, Florida. So we just left it there, and we're just starting over, and I just keep telling my girls, when I get on point, we're gonna build, and she's saying, yo, send a donation, send a Patreon. I'm like, yo, we gotta support. So we just ordered the how to understand natal charts effectively. Yeah, in the other book as well, 888-111, it came out tonight.
Yeah.
I just want to say,
that's crazy.
For real, like, no bullshit. Thank you.
No problem, man. And as far as the Yoni's themes and things of that nature, like those are one of the things that you could advise your wife to, or your girl to kind of do as a spiritual exercise and connecting with her primal energy as well. So even that, like, it's a lot of exercises. Y'all can take some time off in nature, just relax, just start over, you know what I'm saying? And from that perspective, things work out. And if you got any questions towards the natal chart book, email me, hoodmystic@gmail.com. I'm going to remember you.
Absolutely, I will. My name, remember, you deal with a lot of people, but,
Yeah, I remember a lot of people, too. I remember. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, please do. All right, Reggie. Peace, bro. 862, you tapped in. What's good?
Hello?
Hello?
Oh my god, hi. Is this the Hood?
It is.
Oh my god, hi, how are you? I'm on my way to work.
Cool.
I listen to you in the morning when I'm on my way to work, and I do have so many questions. I've been following you maybe the last few months or so. I got all of your books, and I'm actually doing the challenge with Yay Move this month. So my question is, so I've been listening to things that you've been saying, and I get, like, you know how when you listen to someone who has a lot of knowledge and you don't know exactly what they're talking about. So I've been feeling a little bit kind of confused, I guess.
Sure.
And so basically the thing that I'm going through now is, like, I'm from New Jersey, and I recently watched the Malcolm X bio, like the documentary series that's on Netflix.
Yes.
And ever since I've watched it, I've been so upset. Like, I'm upset about being, in Newark. I've been upset because I know that you said you love Whitney Houston, and I also love Whitney. When my mom passed away, like, she had her service at the same place that Whitney Houston did. And also, I'm just having a lot of problems with my dreams, my dream life. I'm not able to recall dreams, but I've also had a lot of past history of alcohol abuse. I'm in recovery from alcohol abuse, sober almost 10 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. So I guess, can you give me, I guess what I'm asking is, like, what's going on with it?
Sure. And trust me, yeah. Go ahead, finish. I'm listening.
Well, I was gonna say I feel all this conflict. Like I'm feeling so much conflict, and I just don't know how to get out of it. I guess.
Sure. So in this conversation, I tried to speak to, alleviating and moving yourself out of conflict, because even within you and all of the things that you can perceive yourself to be going through, you also have a lot of victory in your life. You also have a clear cognizance in your life where you're just aware and you know certain things. And part of the drinking was shutting that part of you off, and now that that's coming into alignment, now it's time to you to kind of start to really listen to that part of you without it driving you crazy or making you feel like you crazy, I guess is the most simplest word to use.
Right.
But you're not crazy. You as somebody would come to for help like a person would ask you questions that nobody else could seem to answer. And so part of easing your conflict is recognizing how talented and how spiritual and clairvoyant you are. Right? Like, part of that conflict is you accepting that part of you. And part of you want to live into a society called Newark, which is a geographical location. And within that geographical location, there's a lot of ritual and there's a lot of spiritual suppression. You know why? Because Newark, New Jersey is the actual new arc of the New Jerusalem. Okay?
Oh my. And so I'm literally in tears right now when you said the clairvoyant part, because I remember when I was about 5 or 6 years old, I had this horrible dream that my dad was in a car accident, and I woke up screaming. And I remember waking my mother up in the middle of the night, and she was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "Well, Daddy was in a car accident." And the phone rang like 5 minutes later. He was literally in a car accident. So ever since then, like my dreams, and I felt like it was my fault. So ever since then, like my dream state has always been really kind of shut down, and maybe that the drinking could have been me trying to, like, oh my goodness, wow.
There's parts of you that you don't really accept, and because of that, it becomes conflict, and the conflict is easily identified in the programs you watch, the experience that you have, but it's a reflection or a reverberation to the inner conflict that you have with the larger part of you. Now, I said some words and it could be confusing, so I just want to make sure you understood what I just said.
Yes, I do understand that, yes.
Okay. Yeah, and it's a process, but it becomes easier when you begin to accept and start to listen and start to trust and really, feel how beautiful you are, feel how loving you are, and feel how wonderful you are unto yourself, And once you have that relationship with yourself, then your life begins to reflect and reverberate that. I think beyond the conflict and the trouble that you see with Malcolm X, I believe that you could actually go to Malcolm X right now and say, how can I make this better? How can I heal this situation? And then that resolves some conflict, It becomes a matter of inner power, and I think the things that you have trouble with are the things that you can actually change, and you might not see that now. You might not see that now, and that's okay. But if you're able to walk through the little steps towards, self-healing, I'm sure you would see that.
I really would like to schedule a read-in with you, because it's so funny that you said that, because I've actually been burning ancestor money for him. Yeah, it's been feeling I feel like that I had to do something, so I had started burning ancestor money for him. So,
yeah.
And I had wanted to reach out to you for a read-in, so I'm definitely going to reach out to you for a read-in.
Sure.
Everything you're saying is so accurate. And I'm floored how, with me just talking to you, you're just picking up on everything that I'm going through. I'm amazed. So I would definitely love to schedule a meeting with you.
Sure, I'm available. Just check my website and then schedule as different prices. You know, you could start small or whatever, just whatever you comfortable with, and we can have a nice conversation. Okay.
Okay, thank you so very much.
And I never got your name.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Tawana, Lady Libra on my handle on YouTube.
Okay, Lady Libra. I'll be looking forward to you. And you have a great day at work, and, you know, enjoy your day, even if you are at work. Don't make it be a bad thing that you're at work. It's beautiful things that are taking place, so be sure to enjoy it all, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem, Lady Libra. Have a good day. Bye. 757. Ooh. Get you unmuted. 757. Thanks for holding. You tapped in with the Hood Mystic. What's going on?
Hey, Hood Mystic. Hey, Mama Mystic.
Hey.
First of all, I just want to tell you thank you for being so consistent and constantly putting in the work and giving us this very important information.
No problem. Thank you for that comment. Who am I talking to?
This is Ethereum.
Okay. How's everything going with you?
Everything's going really good, you know. I just wanted to call you and tell you thank you for everything, you know.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I've learned a lot about astrology and just tuning into the astrological planets and the energy. It's just been, you know, really great to learn a lot. I mean, I've been following you for about maybe a little bit over a year now.
Dope. That's dope.
So
that's dope.
Yeah.
I'm happy you coming through with this comment, because it's just like confirmation to keep continuing, and, you know, I'm happy that you feel that way towards my work, because that's the intention. So thank you.
No problem. I wanted to kind of get your advice on the situation that I'm currently in.
Sure.
This is regarding my mother. She's a Leo moon. I'm a Scorpio moon. And my 4-year-old daughter is an Aries moon. And we're currently living with my mom, who, like I said, is a Leo moon. And I just kind of, I know that we talked about guilt earlier, and you were talking about how, like, it doesn't owe you anything.
Right.
And I've been feeling some guilt because I've been living with my mom until I graduate college. I'll be graduating next year, January 1st, 2021, so I can become an elementary school teacher. But my mom, she's been kind of stressed out because she's about 52 years old now, and her life has been very rough. Like, she hasn't had the best life, and she's feeling like her life is halfway over. She's feeling like, you know, she just didn't get to live the life that she wanted. She's had a lot of obstacles, you know. She had my brother at age 16. She didn't graduate from high school, but she went back and got her master's degree. She's a teacher as well. But she's just feeling very unfulfilled. She was in an abusive relationship when she was younger, but she's overcome everything. She's owned like 3 homes, and she's just not feeling fulfilled inside. Like, she's feeling like something is missing, and it's causing us to kind of be at odds with each other, because she's feeling a lot of anger and resentment towards me, because she's feeling like I don't appreciate her. You know how Leo moons, they feel like, you know, you have to really just tell them every day how much you appreciate them and all that. But I feel like she doesn't understand me. We're just really conflicting right now, and I don't want our conflict to continue anymore. And it's very hard for me to sometimes just like calm down and just go inward, because when someone's always at you, you know, it's very difficult. But I've been trying to be very diplomatic, because I don't want my 4-year-old daughter to pick up on this. You know?
Sure.
So what would you suggest? Like, I know that the easiest thing would be to just not say anything, but it's difficult. Like, I'm sure you can understand that.
I understand everything that you're saying, and so it becomes to be a delicate question that needs a delicate answer, because it's a delicate situation as it seems. And I got like a couple of different answers, but one of those answers is that you're 24 and you're in college and you're living with your mom. That's perfectly fine. You know, like, it would be a stress that you have initially, like, maybe I'm not living up to my best self, maybe I should have my own thing, or this, that, and the third. And so that's kind of what you can perceive in your mom. That's what you can kind of pick up, because you might feel inadequate for living in that situation. But for me, that would be the ideal situation. You know, if I was 24 and I was trying to get my way through college, I would hopefully be able to live with my parents. So within that, that's a victory. And then you reference your mother owning 3 homes, having to go back and get her master's after having a teenage child, and her not finding the happiness in the physical world. So within this conversation, it's like, you know, she could talk to me for probably about 10 minutes and I can look at her chart and probably help her in that aspect, because at the end of the day, no matter who you are, no matter what you do, she could have owned 15 houses, she could have been a billionaire, or whatever the case may be. There's something within her that is calling out, the same way that there's something in you that's calling out. And if I'm thinking about it, it seems to be epigenetic, and it seems to be like a line of Brujeira. I can't pronounce it, but it's Brujeira, and between you, your mom, and your daughter, you guys share a lineage of actual some form of magic, some form of like mystical abilities. And I think you 3 suppress that within yourself, and maybe your daughter is trying to awaken both of you. Got, like, it seems as though your daughter is the leader and you and your mom are kind of following behind in the actual awakening to your actual beliefs. And so the things that you guys try to do on the terrestrial plane, they begin to be inconsequential to the grander scale of what's actually happening. It's a movie that I'm thinking of. You know what movie I'm talking about, where it's like the 3 generations, and it's a horror movie, but it's like the haunted house in Connecticut or something to that effect. And I'll have to look it up and I'll send it to you. But what I'm really trying to say is that you guys are very powerful in a spiritual sense, and the fact that you guys don't really invest and spend time in that space, it creates negative situations or negative feelings, because it's kind of like the spirit is like folding their hands and kind of throwing a temper tantrum at a certain point, because there's so much to be grateful for, there's so much to be appreciative of. But if you guys don't give credit to where credit is due, then it gets to become a problem. Is your mom like religious or goes to church or something?
No, she's not religious. I definitely, because I'm all about my spirituality. I study all day. Like, that's pretty much what I enjoy doing. Like, I love learning about occultism, mysticism, astrology.
Do you practice?
I do, but like I mentioned in the chat, like, for the past 2 or 3 weeks, I've just been in my mind so much. Like, I've been having in my mind, like, oh, I need to give this spiritual offering, or I need to give the spiritual offering. But it's just that I'm not consistent, and I just don't, like, I feel like I need to do it, but I just can't make myself do it. I don't know what's going on, but I get in those little moods sometimes, and then eventually I'll tap out and then do it consistently for a month or 2, and then I'll have to, like, refrain from it,
Yeah, and that becomes, I think it's more or less of something that you're trying to like figure out like externally, when like you can really figure out internally by kind of like freestyling or just experimenting and making it fun. I think the ideas that you've absorbed and the information that you've absorbed, it kind of pulled you away from what you naturally and normally like to do. And so your resonance with spiritual conversations isn't always to learn. It's more or less of your ability to teach or your ability to perform. I think you have an amazing gift that has to be cultivated and brought to life, and this is something that you are just born with. It's something that your mother was born with. It's something that your daughter was born with. So this space and time, it becomes like a whole like spiritual coming together, one would say. But you would have to be open to it, I guess, at the most basic level. Are you open to being led by your spirit?
Yes, I definitely am open to that, for sure.
Do you, so I would also suggest to, like, you know, do things out in nature, do things that aren't normal, really have different things that you try to do beyond reading, beyond learning, because I think the learning and reading is perfect for a particular time, but then it serves no purpose because it's actually supposed to inspire you or move you to some form of action in your spiritual life. And I think following stuff and following things is cool, but you know, it's really taking it away from what could actually possibly be, you know. And I think in you teaching your child and really dealing with a lot of children, you have really a opportunity to raise the youth in a different type of way than you actually even can understand your impact. Another thing that when you was first talking, I wanted to say that whatever conditions you find yourself in that may be negative, they are also temporary. So if you realize that they are temporary, they don't hit as hard, they don't hit as heavy. If you figure like this is how it's going to be forever and you kind of feel trapped in a situation, then it's probably making the situation way worse than it actually really is. But getting out into nature though is definitely one of those things that's going to help you.
Okay, I'll definitely take that advice. You know, I'm not too big on the cold, but I'll have to brace myself and just go out and...
Where you calling from?
I'm in Virginia, so it's not that bad, but I am in Virginia.
Okay. Yeah, and
but I do appreciate you.
Yeah, and I just know that, you know, when you said it and I visioned it, you know, it's definitely epigenetic, whereas your mother had the energy of you and your daughter and all of her children, all like everything that she's manifested. She is a resource of spiritual energy, and it's just like you can't hope or wish that people tap into their spiritual energy, but it would make life a whole lot easier if they would learn to be a little bit more appreciative and grateful of who they are, not about what they're trying to get.
Exactly, and that's why I feel like my mother is so unfulfilled, because I was also going to mention how whenever I look around at her lineage, my mother's side of the family, I see a bunch of like unfulfilled, and you know, her mom, she didn't really have the best life. My aunt, my uncle, their life is not going well, but my mom was the one of her two brothers and sisters, like she was the one that was able to rise above things and actually accomplish more than her siblings and kind of break the generational curse to a certain extent. And now that it's my turn, I'm going to be able to do greater things than her brothers and sisters and her, and then my daughter will be truly free. So I completely agree with you on that.
Sure, and I figured out the movie too. You like watching movies?
Yes.
Okay. The Haunting in Connecticut 2, The Ghost of Georgia. Now, it's a horror movie, but it's not really like a horror movie. It's more psychological. And it's based on a book called The Veil. And it's really about this veil that these mother, daughter, and child, they have like this veil that they're working through or removing it. And I think, like, if you watch this movie, you will understand more of what I'm trying to say, and you will probably get more of a inspirational approach to really dealing with your family matters, because it's definitely a spiritual solution to it. And if you're looking for a more practical, logical, rational solution, it becomes conflict, it becomes trouble, it becomes difficult. But when you release, your spiritual energy, where you accept your spiritual energy, you accept your spiritual growth, it now resolves that. So The Haunting in Connecticut 2.
Okay, I'm definitely going to check that movie out, and I appreciate the suggestions, and I think that it is definitely, I'll be able to apply that to my life, so I appreciate it.
No problem. And if you need anything beyond that, you can always email me and let me know how things are moving forward. And if, like, you had your mom's chart or whatever, I could just do something like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll even just send it to you and we can kind of work on it to really just, because I feel like your mom is really the key. And if we could just, if I can show you who your mom is spiritually, maybe you can convey that message to her, and then y'all could kind of have that build back and forth. Like, this guy said something, he wrote this paragraph, and did this resonate? I mean, I'm just thinking in advance and just being experimental, but I just know that it's a solution behind this.
Absolutely. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
No problem. You have a great day.
All right, you too.
Peace. Well, this has been another episode of this has been another episode of Daily Energy Readings. I'm the Hood Mystic, representing www.hoodmystic.com. We gonna do this 5 days a week, so be sure you check in tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll do this all over again. We're gonna be talking about what we've talked about today and yesterday, but putting it all together and trying to make more sense of it. And you guys have a great day, and I'll see y'all on the flip side. Peace.